Hi, my name's Al Bonney, and I am the District 6290 Rotary Foundation Chair. Welcome to our 2018 online Grants Management Seminar. One of the continuing suggestions in past years has been to produce an online version so you can complete your participation requirements at home, at your own pace, and without having to travel. We have acted on your suggestion, taking and passing all 3 modules of the online version of this grant management seminar will satisfy your participation requirement. We are pleased to make this available, and we are delighted that you have chosen to take advantage of this opportunity. 2 members of each club, or only 1 if you have fewer than 20 members, must attend a grant management seminar each year if your club wants to participate in the Rotary Matching Grants program. The signer on any grant from your club must also have taken this course to be able to sign for the club. This is not an additional person. Simply we ask that any signers must have taken this course. This online grant management seminar comes in 3 modules. Module 1 is the overview of the matching grant process and a look at our funding partner, the Rotary Foundation. Module 2 gets down to the basics of applying for a global grant. And Module 3 discusses the basics of applying for district local or district international grant. To get credit for participating in an online grant management seminar, you must satisfactorily complete all 3 modules before applying for a grant. The module quizzes are built so you will know if you have successfully passed before moving on to the next module. You may stop after any module and return to it at your convenience. The course will pick up right where you stopped. For those of you who do not like to do things online, we will have 1 live grant management seminar at the District Conference in Holland, Michigan on May 17th at 1 p.m. in the City Flats Hotel. You may take either, but 1 or 2 members of your club, depending on how many members you have, must successfully participate in one or the other to qualify for matching grants next Rotary year. The objectives of the online version and the live version are the same. You will learn how the matching grants program works. You will learn how your club can take maximum advantage of these grants to leverage your service projects from good to great. You will learn how to manage the grant process in the most productive ways, and you will learn how to ensure your club conforms to all the requirements of the grant program. So, let's get started, shall we? In this first section of Module 1, we will discuss 2 things. First, the mission of the Rotary Foundation, and second, how the share system works and what happens to the money you donate to the Rotary Foundation. Let's first look at the mission of the Rotary Foundation. It's written on your screen. Now let's ask, what does Rotary Foundation do with the money they receive from donors each year? The answer is they provide matching grant funds for club projects that actually do the work to accomplish this mission. See the 4 words in the first sentence? Enable Rotarians to advance. There's the key. Rotary Foundation does not do anything themselves to accomplish this mission. The clubs accomplish this mission by using the funds aggregated by the Rotary Foundation through donations to the annual fund from Rotarians like you and me. Rotary Foundation collects donations and distributes them back to the districts through a process called share, which we will discuss in a moment. Suffice to say, all the money we give to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund each year is the money used to fund matching grant requests from Rotary clubs. And that's what we're here to talk about today, funding your projects through the matching grant program, which is made possible from donations to the annual fund each year by Rotarians just like you and me. Our second topic is, how does the Rotary Foundation share system work? Or, what happens to the money I donate to the Rotary Foundation? Before we started, you downloaded the same image that's on the screen. Keep this with you throughout this section. This is an important discussion because the matching grant program for both district and global grants are funded by our donations to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund. Keep this clearly in mind. If Rotarians do not donate to the annual fund, there will be no matching grant program. This is the reason we have the requirement that any club wishing to participate in the matching grant program must donate its fair share to the fund each year. This fair share is $100 per Rotarian. It's called a per capita donation of $100. Per capita means the average of all donations in the year from your club based on your membership numbers on the 1st of July of this Rotary year. If we can average a minimum of $100 per Rotarian across the entire district each year, we will have adequate funds in the SHARE program to maintain a robust matching grants program. Let's look at this in more detail. Looking at the image on the screen, see the top box circled in blue? I'm going to switch slides several times for this discussion, and we'll move the blue circle around to center our discussion. The document will not change. The 2015-16 donations from 6290 to the annual fund were $335,449. See that right up there in the top box? These funds get banked for 3 years. Rotary Foundation uses the interest to pay for their operating expenses. In 2018, all of the money donated by 6290 Rotarians in 2015-16 comes back out and gets divided in half. One half is called DDF, District Designated Funds, and comes back to the district to fund district local, district international, and global grants. The other half goes to the World Fund in Evanston, managed by the Rotary Foundation, which is also used to fund global grants, but from a fund that includes all districts from around the world. There is over $100 million in the World Fund just for this purpose. Notice that Rotary Foundation charges 5% of this money to cover expenses of managing the global grant program. They also charge 5% of the cash portion of each global grant for this same purpose. We'll talk more about this later when we get to more detail on global grants. The simple message is Rotary grants are made possible by donations to the annual fund of the Rotary Foundation by Rotarians just like us. There is no other source of funding for these grant programs. The more we give, the more we get back to create matching grants that leverage club projects from good projects to great projects. Some people complain that Rotarians are required to donate to the Rotary Foundation. And this is not true. But if you and I don't donate, the grant program withers and dies. Many of our clubs hold this matching grant program in considerable esteem and work hard each year to take maximum advantage of these matching funds. They know these matching funds make the quality of their service projects even better than they would have been without them. Indeed, it's not a requirement that Rotarians donate. Rather, it's an opportunity to create service projects that matter by taking advantage of this grant resource that is second to none in the grants world. So let's now look at where the donated money goes and how the matching grant program becomes the most generous grant model available anywhere. Have a look at the blue circled area again. This is where half of the DDF has been retained specifically for the district level, local, and international grants. This money is available every fall for clubs to apply for grants for either local or international projects, which will be matched up to 1-to-1, up to a maximum of $2,500 for local grants and $5,000 for international. We will have more detail on these district level grants later in Module 3. Now let's look at global grants matching formula. Global grants differ from district level grants in several ways. First, they must be over $30,000 in total project value. They must be international and have a host club in the other country to partner with your club. They have a much higher matching component, up to 3.5-to-1. Remember that 50% of the DDF was used for smaller district and local international grants. The other 50%, shown in the green box at the top of the blue circle, is used by the district to match global grant requests from DDF at the rate of 1-to-1. After the district has matched the club cash, the grant goes on to the Rotary Foundation for further review and matching. Look at the yellow box at the bottom of the blue circle, and you see the $10,000 in cash from a club gets $10,000 match from DDF. I just mentioned that. Then Rotary Foundation matches the DDF match at 1-to-1 for an additional $10,000, and finally matches the club cash at 1/2-to-1 for another $5,000, yielding a $35,000 total project. Where can you get a better return for your investment than up to 1-to-1 from the district and for the smaller grants, and 3.5-to-1 for a larger global grant? If we do not communicate anything else during this grant management seminar, we need to be sure that the messages of this segment on where does my money go come through clearly. Let me summarize. 100% of the donations to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund create the unique and generous Rotary Matching Grant Program. Rotary clubs around the world leverage their good projects into great projects by using these unique matching grants. Rotarians donate to the Rotary Annual Fund each year because they want to support the significant value that clubs contribute to changing lives and building better communities. In the end, Rotary clubs fulfill the Rotary Foundation mission by doing good in the world because of the massive aggregating capacity of the Rotary Foundation. So the truth is, Rotarians aren't required to donate. Donating is simply in our very best interest. Our donations enable clubs to do better service projects, thereby making the world a better place, one community at a time. Why wouldn't everyone welcome the opportunity to donate to a program like that? Let's move to the final segment of Module 1, the 4 components of the Matching Grant Program. When Rotary Foundation changed the Matching Grants Program in 2013, 4 key components surfaced as central to the new program. Let's review these 4 key components now, because it'll be important that you have them clearly in mind as you go into Modules 2 and 3, which cover the details of applying for global and district matching grants. A key component of Rotary grants in District 6290 is that each club must qualify on 5 quite simple criteria to be eligible to apply for and receive district-designated funds through the Matching Grant Program. These are very important. Please be sure you understand these 5 points and have a list of them available when you start applying for grants next year. The first is to sign and return the Memorandum of Understanding and the district addendum, which we will discuss in a moment. The second is to have 2 members attend a grant management seminar, or 1 with clubs with fewer than 20 members. We have discussed this earlier. This webinar counts towards this requirement. The third is to pay your district and RI dues on time. And on time means within 90 days of receiving the bill in July. The fourth requirement is to meet a per capita giving requirement to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund of $100 per member if you want to receive matching grants from district designated funds. Clubs who do not make the $100 per capita giving can still apply for global grants, but they will not receive matches from district designated funds. They will only get the half-to-1 match from Rotary Foundation for their club cash in the application. Remember, per capita means average giving level, not that every member must give this much. The membership number used to compute your per capita giving for your club is the number of members on your Rotary's international bill on July 1 of this Rotary year. Finally, the fifth requirement is that all reports due from last year's grant awards must be submitted and accepted on time. Any 6290 club desiring to apply for and receive Rotary matching grant money from the district designated funds or from the World Fund for Global Grants must fulfill all 5 of these requirements before applying for a grant. The second of these key components requires global grants to focus on 1 or more of what we call the 6 areas of focus. You will want to have the document on the 6 areas of focus that you downloaded earlier with you for this segment. The 6 areas of focus are listed on your screen. Back at the beginning of this module, you downloaded a document entitled Rotary's Areas of Focus. While the list is pretty clear, it's important to understand each of these in some detail, because if you are applying for a global grant, it is required that your grant addresses 1 or more of these areas. If you have not already, please spend some time on this document to deepen your understanding of the 6 areas of focus. Addressing the 6 areas of focus is not required for a district grant, but it is recommended. The third key component is to be a good steward of the funds you are granted. You will want to have the document called Memorandum of Understanding and District Addendum that you downloaded earlier available for this segment. Applying for and receiving funds from any grant program includes the expectation that you will be a good steward of the funds you are awarded. Being a good steward means several things. Rotary has a document called the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, that lists the requirements for providing good grant management stewardship. It's vitally important that you read, understand, sign, return, and comply with the requirements contained in the MOU and District Addendum. Your club president and your president-elect must sign the MOU and the District Addendum and return them according to the instructions before you can apply for any Rotary grants. If you apply for a global grant, it is required that your grant follows and complies with the stewardship requirements contained in the MOU. There are elements in the MOU required for a district grant as well. Again, to qualify for any Rotary grant, your club president and your president-elect must sign and return the MOU as outlined in the instructions. We will go into more detail on the MOU in modules 2 and 3. The last of the 4 key components is that your project plan must contain components that will ensure your project will be sustainable after Rotarians leave the project site. You will want to have the document on the 6 steps to sustainability that you downloaded earlier with you for this segment. The idea of sustainability is not a complex one, but Rotary has its own particular definition of the term. I have shown Rotary's definition on the screen. The requirement for your global grant to be sustainable is an important requirement and one you must take seriously if you want your grant to be approved. Addressing the issue of sustainability is required for a global grant and is recommended for a district grant, but not required. I would like you to watch a great video about how Rotary defines sustainability and how you can ensure your sustainability plan meets the Rotary Foundation requirements.